Alright, kind of a response video to Pete, yeah, whatever man. Kind of, that's his name. Whatever man. Yeah, I actually bothered to read the screen name. Pretty irritating in the context. But anyway, we'll move on. Yeah, Dario was going to do a video response to this, and I'm probably stepping on his toes, but he'll he'll forgive me. But anyway, yeah, it's probably worth more than one person arguing it anyway, from different points of view, because it really is critical to the whole phantasmagorical religion, this reverence for nature thing. And it's just such a crock of shit. So anyway, to the videotape.
I'll try and deal with your points as you bring them up. The first one about nature sucks. Why I'm dismissive of it, of this. I'm not dismissing just the sentence itself, nature sucks. But, you know, the whole idea which is being put forward here, I don't see any philosophical use for it. I mean...
Yeah, okay, so let's say there was a God, and he was just a lizard. It was a lizard. You found out that God was a lizard. So you're telling me if you found out God was a lizard, you'd see no philosophical point in trying to figure out, well, what the fuck? I mean, is there some way we can get around the lizard? I mean, we really don't. Maybe we can get Satan to take the lizard's place, because maybe we're better off with Satan than a fucking lizard being in charge. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't see any philosophical point in scrutinizing, in picking apart the nature of our existence. Philosophy isn't supposed to do that.
To me, to say nature sucks is just saying reality sucks. I mean, to me it's no more profound than, you know, a 4-year-old.
Oh yeah, really? You know, it's the same thing as saying reality sucks, and there's something wrong with doing that too. There's no point, there's no reason whatsoever in dissecting, again, I'll say it over again, I just keep saying it over, there's no point in dissecting our existence, figuring out where we came from and why we exist and how we function in this world, how we were created, what we were built to accomplish. No point in looking at all of that, and certainly no point holding up to any kind of standard where we might say that's efficient and sensible or that's completely fucktarded. No, we can't do that. That's not the job of philosophy. Philosophy is just to, let's all write an appropriate poem expressing our love for nature, i.e. the lizard god.
Crying that life's not fair because they didn't get their favourite ice cream. I mean, yeah, I know...
Well, like, we just make the same argument. You just turn that kind of bullshit rhetoric right around on you and just say you're like a 4-year-old just running from the truth. I can't take the truth, so give me Santa Claus and fairy stories. You know, everything's going to be all right. You know, little sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
He's made hundreds of videos arguing why he thinks life and nature in general just sucks. But you know, in any sort of constructive philosophical terms, it's no better than somebody making hundreds of videos arguing why they like I don't know, vegetable curry or something.
So it's completely discussions about the nature of our existence are completely subjective. They're like a food preference. They're no, and all the videos I've made have talked about why I think personally, why nature personally sucks from my personal perspective. That's all I've talked about. I haven't talked about the structure, the lack of intelligence in the design, and the fundamental imbecility of much of it. No, I've just talked about the fact that I personally think it stinks or smells in some bad way. Fuck you!
I mean, or why they dislike this or dislike that. I mean, it's just, it's completely arbitrary. Basically, Gary's just using a...
Yeah, completely arbitrary, right. There's you know, as you pointed out, hundreds of videos, and it's completely arbitrary. I haven't gone through the minutia of detailing the process, the mechanisms that are in charge of the process, and why those mechanisms are going to lead to a system where you're going to have the things we have in our society, the exploitation, the waste, the inefficiency, because there's no control dynamic, there's no regulator, there's no governor, there's nothing to prevent the excesses because of the nature of nature. So, I mean, fuck you again.
To argue a rhetorical point of how he sees the world, and you know, that's fine. The problem I have with it is when he tries to pass it off as if it was a fact.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. So you're not trying to pass off your nature's okay, leave it alone bullshit as a fact, or your it just is. That's your philosophy of the just isness. That's not your fucking passing off the just isness as a fact. I mean, it's such a pile of shit. I'm arguing in defense. I provide the logical stream. The whole fucking foundation of the philosophy is provided. I'm not sitting there asking for people to just drone up and fall into line. Okay, they can analyze it for themselves. It's not that complicated once they understand. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's a DNA molecule. I get that. I get 2 to 4 billion years of evolution. I get that. Okay, yeah, invented consciousness. Yeah, I get that. Oh yeah, it just has no ethics. Yeah, all it wants is consumption, reproduction, natural selection. Yeah, nothing to regulate it. Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's not that fucking complicated, you prick.
You know, as if this idea he has about nature exists anywhere except inside his head.
Yeah, well, oh gee, that's the reason why. Okay, yeah, it only exists inside my head, yes, as a stream of logic and rationality. The fact that it doesn't exist in you know, maybe it doesn't exist in any Iranian fundamentalist kook head. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Maybe none of the Buddhist nuts think, you know, maybe it doesn't occur to any of them either, because they already have a head full of nonsense and bullshit. I'm sure it doesn't occur in a lot of heads that have already been full of some kind of, they've already got Santa Claus, so they don't need any other stories. You know, so fuck you. I mean, damn it. The whole fucking thing has been spelled out, and for you to sit there and play this game that it's, oh, well, nobody else believes it, therefore it must be wrong. Fuck you.
Inside his own subjective perception of the world. Again, the problem comes for...
Yeah, well, fuck you. Like, again, you could just keep calling it subjective. It's been logically argued based on a simple premise, okay, that suffering matters. Now, if you don't agree that suffering matters, then get the fuck out of the conversation, because I would concede we have nothing, we have no way to communicate. But if you believe suffering matters, well, guess what? The thing regulating how much suffering there's going to be is a DNA fucking molecule. And I think it's worth analyzing that. Like I said, if that DNA molecule was declared God, you wouldn't just sit back and say, whatever, man. No, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't. You'd say, what the fuck are we listening to a DNA molecule for? It doesn't got a goddamn fucking brain. Why is it president of the world? That's pretty damn fucking stupid.
The idea that nature has to have a purpose, an overriding purpose to it. And as far as anybody's aware, as far as I'm aware, as far as life is demonstrated, that there is no purpose. That purpose doesn't exist. Now, people try to fill in the gaps, if you like, with God, with religion, with all this other bollocks.
Yeah, and I'd say the bollocks of the God nature is bollocks. All right, it's nothing else but a religion. Your reverence for nature, your concession, you've just conceded it doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have to have a purpose. Well, couldn't I just invent a retarded God and just say the same thing? Okay, it doesn't have a purpose. It's pointless. It's whatever. But no, we can't criticize it. No, can't criticize it. Can't dissect it. Can't figure out some way around it. Can't say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we should take this into account. I mean, if a retard invented us, maybe we should look at our design and see maybe there's some retarded flaws in the design of our life and the way we're living it. Jesus.
And I don't really see what Amendum is doing different to that. He's trying to impose what he thinks should be the purpose of life.
Yeah, right. And it's a dogma. I'm just talking stuff. It's just dogma, 4,000-year-old dogma I'm trying to impose on the mind of man. And I don't provide any logical explanations for anything. I just say, you better believe it, or else Inmendum will squash you somehow by some magical force. I will punitively, ruin your life with a horrible wagging of the finger jinx I will place on you. Fuck you. I'm not imposing anything. I'm offering something. Fuck you.
Onto nature. You don't get anywhere by trying to moralize nature.
Yeah, trying to scrutinize nature. That's right. You don't get anywhere scrutinizing our creation. That won't explain our psychology. That won't explain anything whatsoever. No, if you go to the source and figure out how we were built, no, that would be a really idiotic way to figure out why we do what we do.